What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about a documentary for once, and this one's going to be a little different than usual. Today, I'm going to be talking about a documentary called Great White Death. It was released in 1981. It was directed by Jean LaBelle, who has done other like documentary films, like Two or Three Things I Know About Her, The Oldest Profession, The Elegant Criminal, and Beau Musqua. Um, yeah, this is a documentary on great white sharks in the 80s. But it's very obscure type documentary. It's very uh, different, to say the least. So, first half of this documentary actually focuses more on like tribal beliefs and stuff of what great white sharks are. Some of them believe that they're like a demon god or a demon to cleanse the oceans, basically, and stuff. Weird things like that. And they try to drive that home with this. And Glenn Ford does the narration, which he does a good job. And you also see him in some scenes. They're sitting at a desk talking about it. But yeah, they really try to sell that it's a evil creature. Now we know a lot more nowadays, so watch. It's really funny going back and watching an old documentary like this because some of the facts are outdated now, and it's cheesy. There's some really good underwater photography though in this. I'm not sure if it's just like some recycled footage no, or they actually shot it themselves. But yeah, there's some pretty good underwater photography of the sharks, people going in the cages trying to research them and stuff. They definitely give you a good sense of the anatomy of the shark, and they go into detail quite a bit of what they knew at the time of the shark and how ferocious they can be. And they demonstrate that too in this. And yeah, so if they had Shark Week back in 1980s, this would have been perfect for it. But yeah, nowadays it's a little dated. Definitely has the grainy 80s feel of a documentary. It doesn't really hold up well nowadays, though. I find it is pretty slow for the first half, and then once they start going more into like the anatomy of the sharks and stuff, it's cool because they have some good shots of like the great whites opening their mouths to attack something and things like that. But most of it is just people standing in a cage, swimming around, and them talking and talking and talking. Um, yeah, it's not. There's not very many good. They try to recreate some um, shark attack scenes and stuff, which is super cheesy in this because it's like a low budget independent documentary. So the recreations were actually pretty funny. It's like watching a terrible B movie from like the 70s. And yeah, so it adds to the cheesy factor. But yeah, they definitely did the best they could with what they had, and it is somewhat enjoyable, but it is quite the slow burn documentary. It takes a while to start up, but once you start seeing some of those, it's pretty amusing. Just get ready to sit through and watch a lot of sharks swimming around people in a cage because that's what most of this movie is. And it has your standard shark facts and everything. And like I said, there is some outdated facts in this, and yeah, and how like I think we have a different view on sharks nowadays than back then. This was made right in the middle of like the Jaws craze and everything, so definitely a nostalgia type documentary now more than an actual factual documentary. So if you are interested to see what people were thinking, what these sharks are like back in the 80s, this is a good one to check out. But for the most part, it wasn't that good. It was pretty boring and a slow burn and just wasn't that interesting nowadays. It was funny to hear what people thought back then and how compared to like how we think of them now. But for the most part, it's still an outdated but cheesy mess, and it's still somewhat enjoyable, but definitely not one I'd seek out very often or anything like that. I'm gonna give Great White Death the documentary a 2 out of 5, just because it's cheesy and entertaining. But like I said, it is pretty slow and pretty cheesy, and most of the facts are probably outdated now compared to like how we see the sharks nowadays and everything. So yeah, but if you want a good throwback, check it out. Actually seen the whole documentary on YouTube, so I'll link that down below. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram, that's linked down below, where I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I usually have the film title and hashtag, the subgenre of film, and the hashtag so you're aware of it. And yeah, so you can follow me there to stay in the loop, or you could also check out check out me on Letterbox at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. Right there. So you can follow me on there or on Instagram to stay in the loop. Like this video, share it somewhere people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the documentary down below if you've seen it. Let me know what you thought. Also, yeah. Also, if you have any recommendations of documentaries or other films that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And yeah, that's it for this one. It was good doing like some shark documentary for once instead of a cheesy shark movie, but I kind of prefer the cheesy shark movies. So yeah, that was just something a little different and a little unique to throw out there. And also you can find it on YouTube, the whole thing to check out. So I thought might as well do a review on this, and you can check it out because it's linked down below. So yeah, but remember, watch out for all those good great whites out there, always trying to be your friends out in the ocean. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So till then, cheers.